Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Chelsea, and for those of you tuning in for the first time, this is my 21-week pregnancy update. I'm a first-time mommy, and we announced last week that we are having a little girl. So baby girl is due on July 21st. This week, my pregnancy app says that baby is the size of a carrot, which I don't feel like is all that different from last week's fruit, the banana, but my carrot's looking a little rough. But lengthwise, it's measuring, our baby girl is measuring about 10.5 inches long. So it's not necessarily the weight, but the inches. The other thing that I thought was pretty cool on my app was it was saying that baby this week now has eyebrows. And I'm all about some good eyebrows, so I hope she's got some good ones. I have been growing as well with the baby though, for sure. I am noticing a lot of changes in my body and changes on the scale. I weighed in today at about 162 pounds. I'm 5'7.5", 5'8", give or take. So I've officially gained about 19 pounds this pregnancy. And my bump circumference is now at 35.5 to 36 inches. So I definitely have a bump now, which feels good. I'm glad I have a bump. I like having a bump. This past week, this 21 week has been kind of weird. Just in the sense that I've been sick. So this pregnancy, I actually decided I did not want to get a flu shot. I've never had a flu shot before. And so after talking to a million people and going back and forth with it, I just couldn't get peace about getting a flu shot. So I did not take a flu shot. And I'm sure people have a lot of comments about that. But I just didn't get a flu shot. So because I didn't get a flu shot, I've been super crazy OCD about making sure that my hands are clean, making sure that everything in the house is clean and disinfected. At my job, when I shake someone's hand, I literally Purell or go wash my hands, moments later. But nevertheless, I still ended up getting sick. I caught a virus on, I think, Tuesday last week, and I was worried that it was strep, so I went immediately to my doctor because my lymph nodes were swollen, my glands were swollen. I was just having a lot of sinus and swelling stuff going on that was more than allergy. And they did the culture for strep. Thank God it was not strep, but I did have a virus. And so the majority of this past week of pregnancy has just been feeling crappy and feeling tired and trying to kick this sickness. I actually lost my voice completely on Friday, so that was awful. And it's just been, that feeling when you go to sleep at night and you can't breathe through your nose, so you end up breathing through your mouth all night, so you don't really feel rested, and then you wake up and your mouth is just dry and disgusting and you can't get that out. It hurts to swallow. All of those things were my past week of pregnancy. My doctor did tell me that it was safe to take Robitussin and Mucinex, I believe. And so I got Robitussin, but I have not taken any medicine this pregnancy, short of maybe a baby Tylenol if I've gotten a killer migraine. So I couldn't get peace with it. So even with the buying the medicine, I still didn't take anything. But I was doing more like homeopathic remedies. So I got fresh local honey, and I was squeezing that in a cup with fresh squeezed lemon and just mixing that to create like something to soothe my throat. I feel like that helped a lot. I also started juicing this week, and the last few days I've juiced carrots with oranges and apples and fresh ginger root, and I feel like that kicked it. That was just like the end that just booted it, and I feel a lot better right now. Light sinuses, but nothing crazy. So I'm happy to report that I'm back to feeling like normal, or at least as normal gets being pregnant. My visit back last Friday, I went to see my OBGYN for my anatomy scan recap, and thankfully everything came back perfect. There was no abnormalities detected. Baby girl has 10 fingers, 10 toes. Everything looked good on the inside. And he did mention, which I thought was interesting, I had heard the term before but not really known what it was, but he told me that I had an anterior placenta, which from my understanding basically means that the placenta is located further back, and I think my uterus is in front. And so right now, at the size that our baby is, I'm not really feeling her a lot. And he said that's normal. I am feeling some light flutters, but not nearly as much as sometimes what other moms say they feel. I've talked to a lot of other moms that are around the same, weeks pregnant as I am, and they're like, oh my gosh, I feel baby all the time. And I don't feel her as much, which is sad. It makes me sad. But it's also even more of a treasure when I do feel those little kicks and flutters. He did say that coming into the next 3 weeks, I should really pick up movement and start to really feel movement more as she continues to grow and get bigger. But being that I do have an anterior placenta, it's not anything to be alarmed about if I'm not feeling her. So, interesting. The other thing that he told me was that we're not doing any more ultrasounds between now and delivery. And I was like, excuse me, what do you mean? Because I thought I'd be getting an ultrasound all the time. I just thought that was like standard protocol of what you do at pregnancy. But apparently it's not when you have a normal, healthy, boring pregnancy, which I guess is a good thing. But he did tell us that we could go do the glamour shots, or, when they do the 4D ultrasound and you can really see baby. So my husband and I talked about it. We'll probably do a 4D ultrasound around week 26, 27, just because I can't go that long without seeing her. I want to see her bounce around, and it's just so reassuring to see your baby on an ultrasound and see her move. So now I feel like if I would have known that, I would have cherished even more the 20-week ultrasound and spending the time with her that we got to spend when they did that anatomy scan. So I was a little bit bummed out about that. But this week's symptoms, pregnancy-wise, I can't really say that I've had a lot of new symptoms, but I have noticed more melasma. I think I mentioned it in one of my other videos, but I am getting hyperpigmentation right here, 2 little spots right on my cheeks, and then 1 spot right here on my forehead. And that's normal with pregnancy. They say that's pretty common. It can happen. It may or may not go away when the baby's here. It's just because of hormones. But being in Florida, it's so hard because I live in Orlando. I mean, it's sunny all the time. So I'm constantly now trying to stay out of the sun. I wear an SPF 25 to 35 every day. If I'm outside on the weekends, I always have my face covered. And it's just like, I love the sun, but I definitely don't love the brown spots. So I've been trying to watch, and I just feel like whatever. If that's the worst of it, I'll deal with it. I'll take it. I'll take the brown spots. But the other thing that's happened this week, which I'm not loving so much, is I've been super clumsy. And if anyone knows me, they know that I'm already pretty clumsy to begin with. My husband calls me a hard charger because I just go really hard in the paint and end up knocking things over or breaking things or bumping into stuff. But on Monday morning, I woke up and I was going to do an apple cider vinegar drink, just normal, something to try to kick the sickness again. And maybe it was because I've been sick. I'm just not kind of all about my wits, but I went to pour the cup and I literally just dropped it, and the glass, a full big glass of apple cider vinegar, just bust everywhere at about 6 o'clock in the morning. So my husband shot out of bed. He heard the noise, ran downstairs to my rescue. But my house smelled like apple cider vinegar for the entire day. And I think there still might be glass on the floor. We're trying really hard to get that cleaned up. But the other thing that happened on Monday night, so today's Wednesday, on Monday evening, we were going downstairs to let Jake out, my husband and I. And I was we live in a townhouse, so I was on the 4th step to the floor. And my feet swept out from underneath of me. And I mean, I felt flat on my back, and it hurt so bad. I literally just kind of did one of those bumps, when you skid and fall down steps. You just, at least I know because I fall all the time. But I just fell, and I got to the bottom of the stairs, and I just sat there and boo-hoo cried because, I mean, number one, it hurt, but number two, I just felt like such a bad mommy. I was so worried about my baby. I was scared because I fell and I hit my elbow, and I was just, it was so upsetting. It was so upsetting. And then Tuesday I went to work and I was so busy I couldn't call my doctor. So I called them first thing this morning and said, hey, I had a fall on Monday night. They asked if I was feeling any movement. I'm like, no, but I don't really feel movement that much right now anyway. I felt a couple flutters, but it hasn't been anything that's to say, oh, I can tell that she's in there moving around. So I went in for a check, and they didn't do an ultrasound, but they did a little heartbeat check, and baby's heartbeat was good. Thank you, Jesus. And there wasn't any bleeding or cramping or fluid leaking or anything like that. So they said, you know, just everything seems fine. So just be careful and try not to fall. I said, thank you. I will definitely keep that in mind. So clumsiness, I guess, is a new symptom of pregnancy. But on the more exciting note, this week we signed up for 2 classes already. I feel like now that we're in the 2nd trimester and it's coming, we really need to start planning. And so we signed up for a breastfeeding class, and we also signed up for I think it's called the Joys of Motherhood class, which is about labor, childbirth, bringing baby home, all those things. So we have 2 classes that are on our calendars now, which I'm really excited about. And I want to start researching now birth. I haven't researched any birthing techniques or anything like that. Labor and delivery and all that just kind of freaks me out still. So I am going to do that this week, and hopefully look for a few more classes for us to sign up for. So that's been pretty exciting. And then the other 2 things that I wanted to talk about that have just been happening this week is we're still using our Baby Plus, which is I think I mentioned it before, it's like the in utero development for baby. And it's just a thumping. It's like a thumping sound. And basically, you put it on for an hour in the morning and an hour at night, all around, usually around the same time. And it delivers a various amount of like thumping and heartbeat to offset mom's heartbeat, which is what your baby hears predominantly in utero. It's supposed to help with fetal development. So that's been pretty cool. I've been religious about doing that. And the other thing is I got a book for our daughter, and it's Oh Baby, the Places You'll Go from Dr. Seuss. And it's been so sweet this week, you guys. Jeff has been consistently every night before bed reading this book to my belly and kissing my belly and talking to our baby, and it has just been like, it makes my pregnant self want to cry right now just thinking about how sweet it is. But you know, our daughter hears my voice a lot throughout the day, but she doesn't hear her dad's voice until the end of the day when we're at home. So he gets right up against my belly and he talks to her, and then he reads her this book. And I think it's going to be really sweet when she's here to be able to read that book to her actually here. And it's just a nice bonding time. I highly recommend that for anyone that is pregnant right now and has a significant other that's a part of that pregnancy. I think it's a really good bonding thing, and it makes him feel more connected to the belly because, you know, as a mom, or a mom to be, I'm holding baby, I'm thinking about her all the time. But for him, he's out living his life. You know, he's not carrying a child. Of course, he's invested, but it just gives us a really nice way to share some time together with our daughter before she gets here. So that's pretty much it for 21 weeks. I wanted to do a bump update. I am in a dress again, so bear with me. But I can still suck it in a little bit. I feel like my muscles I'm always holding in, but I definitely still have that baby bump. Try to come around here. Bump is good. And growing, but I do still find myself wanting to suck in my tummy. It's just kind of a natural, I've done it for probably close to 25 years now, so old habits die hard. But that's the bumpy, that's the update. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will definitely see you next week. If you are not subscribed and you'd like to see my channel updates, please go ahead and click the subscribe button. But thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.